Hi guys. Okay, today's video is going to be about the 10 reasons why it's good to be a conspiracy theorist. Okay, so number one, you could have or did avoid all the coof craziness. So while everyone was really scared, thinking they were going to die or they were going to kill somebody, you avoided it and you maintained your sanity knowing that it was a psyop. I remember for me, it was like I was in a parallel world. Everybody was freaking out and locking themselves in their houses and not letting anyone come over. And I felt perfectly sane. It was the weirdest experience. And that was before I really shifted into the complete world that I'm in now. But a lot of my friends were losing their minds and it was surreal. So that, because of my research, and I was following David Icke at the time, and have him to thank for kind of preparing me for all that stuff. I missed it all. I missed all the fear. I was perfectly sane and just thinking, wow, this is crazy. People are losing their minds. Yeah. So number two is safety. So before I was a conspiracy theorist, I trusted everybody. I just thought everyone was good and everyone knew more than me, and I was kind of dumb, and everybody was smarter, especially the people that were older than me. So I just kind of went along with what people would say and take any kind of advice without screening the source because I had no context. Once you start getting information about the conspiracy world and you start doing your own looking into things, you start not trusting people, and that is amazing. So you start learning about protecting yourself and getting safe. So you're less naive. This would be stuff like not getting the jab. This would be stuff like not being forced into a mask all day and breathing in your own stuff. This is stuff like getting a gun. So you realize that there are indeed threats in the world that you need to protect yourself from. And we're more vulnerable than we think. So that is number two, safety. All right, number three. Oh, I messed up number two and number three. Number three, then we'll say, is sanity. That kind of goes along with number one, but when you kind of have an idea of what's going on in the world because you've done your research, and you have an idea of who the players are and what their agenda is, you feel sane. Everything that pops up, people talk about, oh, can you believe this happened? Or oh, what are we going to do about this? You feel so sane, and you sleep well and you wake up and you still live your life. So sanity is a big one. And that's what you get as you're a conspiracy theorist. The deeper you go into stuff, the more sane you get. Now, I understand that there are rabbit holes we can get into and lose sanity if we're not grounded. And I have been down those rabbit holes and I have lost some of my sanity. So this doesn't apply to, I mean, obviously there's ways to get out of that. But overall, the more research you have on who the players are in the world and what their agenda is, the more sane you feel. Okay. All right. So number four, I just lost it on my phone. Here we go. Okay. You eat better. So this is actually how I started doing conspiracy, was researching food, and I had no idea what a GMO was, or what Monsanto was, or who ran Monsanto, or why they were doing all this genetic engineering of our food, what they were putting in our water, what they were feeding the cows. So I had a lot of stomach problems, and now my stomach problems are fixed. It's really incredible. And I would not have fixed my problems had I not done research on my own, finding out that there are players in the food market that actually want to kill you, literally. So once you start to really take your health seriously, that was my personal entryway into the conspiracy world. Was, wow, there's really companies out there that not only do they not care about our health, but they actually want our demise so we can be fed into the medical system and they can make more money off of us when we're sick. That's a real thing. So that's a huge advantage of being a conspiracy theorist, is you get to take back your own health by learning who the bad players are and how to eat right and how to avoid the medical establishment. Okay. All right. So number five is your news becomes your own life. So rather than watching the big news stations, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, whatever, you stop watching all of that, because you realize it's all nonsense and it's all like just a play, right? Just to whatever their agenda is of the day or of the hour. And your news comes from people close to you or what's happening in your life. You have more time to think. Your brain isn't being taken up by outside sources manipulating you. So like your news would be, whose birthday is it? And what are we doing at church today? Or what are my clients up to? So you just have a lot more room for news that is more, applicable to you personally. So that's kind of nice. Your world gets a lot smaller, which is very, very nice. Number 6 is you can be proud of yourself. So when you start seeing yourself stand up for the truth, obviously when you start to be a conspiracy person, you start to realize how important the truth is and that there is objective truth. And then you see other people not going or not valuing objective truth, and you do things that you watch yourself. For example, I went into a Whole Foods without a mask at the beginning of all the coof craziness, and everybody was wearing a mask, and I chose not to, just to see what would happen. I got screamed at. I got followed out to my car. I had someone videotape my license plate and watch me drive away. I was so amped up that I was shaking with my hands on the wheel as I left. But I will tell you guys, I have never been more proud of myself. It was such a cool experience to watch almost me against the world, which it wasn't. I didn't realize at the time there were plenty of us out there that had this information, but it was kind of a public expression of the fact that I was dedicated to truth and willing to live my life that way. So that was really cool. And for someone that has a history of kind of being swayed by others and just doing what they're told and going with the flow, going along to get along, doing something like that in public was really amazing for me and a huge growth step towards seeing like, no, I'm really dedicated to the truth. I'm really this person. This is awesome. And that encouraged me to do other things in my life and stand up for myself and others. And so, yeah, you can be proud of yourself and for the knowledge that you've done and living your life as the truth matters. So, all right, that's number 6. Number 7 is you start getting a totally new circle of friends. And so this, for me, this kind of, and all these friends, by the way, are also dedicated to the truth, also researching, also really living. They're super alive. And they can be a lot more uplifting than what you were used to. At least that's the case for me. First, it was just like meeting people online and doing research online. Then I got to meet a friend here in Dallas who was also one of these kind of conspiracy guys. And he's still a friend to this day doing crazy things. And I just love it. So anyway, you meet people that are uplifting, and then you're not alone. And the people that you meet are doing things and standing up for the truth in ways that inspire you. So you're being inspired all over the place. And then your circle just changes. So it's a little bit of a letting go process and a grabbing onto the new. So that's kind of cool. Number 8 is you get smarter as a conspiracy theorist. You actually read books now. Whereas before I was into conspiracies, I didn't ever read. I just thought, well, the world's going to tell me how to live. Now I'm actually reading and doing research and learning who authors are and going back to philosophy and actually educating myself. So you get smarter and your brain starts working better. And it's like you just become alive again. Number 9, and actually I think this is the last one I have. I didn't actually have 10. Number 9 is it brings you closer to God. So before I was a conspiracy theorist, I was an atheist, or I guess maybe a pagan too. I was a yoga person. I believed in all sorts. My worldview was all over the place. I didn't really know what I believed. And it was a very lonely place to be. And then when I started researching conspiracies, I realized that the elite were actually satanic, literally worshiping Satan and being enslaved by him. So I was introduced to Satan first, and I was like, well, if he's real, then God's real. And that just blew my mind. And all of a sudden I had God back in my life. I mean, he had never left, but I had left him, right? So I literally got God back in my life. What an amazing result from being a conspiracy theorist is if you're after the truth, it will lead you to God. So I was super alone and I felt isolated and I was scared. And then it all paid off, this pursuit of the truth, this conspiracy research, if you will, which is really just researching the truth of the world and what's going on, right? It leads you to God. So that is the best part of being a conspiracy theorist, is it leads you to go down any route. And of course, God is at the end of that. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I wish you the best in your conspiracy research with whatever rabbit hole you are going down, whatever type of research you're doing. It is all super worth it. Sometimes you get off on a tangent, but if you keep going, you'll get brought back into the right way eventually. So I wish you guys all the best and have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.